Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week on the upper tier. Head over to YouTube there and smash that subscribe and bell notification button. As always, this is a very hectic week ahead for Liverpool. Just gone through a great game in the FA Cup there against Cardiff. Harvey Elliott making a great return. Diaz making a debut, did really well, picked up an assist. Looks a proper baller and stuff like that. But great game to get out of the way. Especially when some other clubs are struggling so badly with their form in the FA Cup after returning from the winter 2 week break. But this is Liverpool versus Leicester coming at you this Thursday, 7:45 under the lights at Anfield. Massive game. Every game now from the end of the season is going to feel like a cup final. We have to keep the pressure on City. We can't afford to drop any points. And this can be a kind of a strange game insofar as Leicester are coming in on the back of some really poor form. Rogers outspoken the other day, got smashed up in the cup by Nottingham Forest 4-1. Really, really poor performance. But I think Liverpool would be complacent to look into that and think that that's the way it is. Whereas Leicester will always come and they will always raise their game against Liverpool, especially Rogers having the Liverpool connection there. Just to look at a bit of current form, obviously Liverpool at the moment, 3 wins, 2 draws and a loss in the league. But in all competitions, 5 wins and a draw. That draw being the 0-0 against Arsenal and Anfield in the Carabao Cup. Leicester's league form at the moment, 3 losses, 2 wins and a draw. So really, really in different form at the moment. And in all competitions, 2 wins, 3 losses and a draw. So yeah, very, very in different form for these guys to either show up or they don't show up. And when they don't show up, it's really, really bad. I think the other day, the likes of Ndidi and Tillemans and all, they were really, really poor in the cup game. But we'll talk about Leicester in a few minutes and give you some team news and stuff like that. But team news for Liverpool anyway. Obviously, Salah and Mane battled it out the other night in the AFCON final. Ended up going to penalties with Mane scoring the winning penalty. Obviously, Salah very, very disappointed. And news coming out today that he's back in Liverpool, raring to go, wants to be selected for the Leicester game. Clearly, obviously, wants to put the disappointment of the AFCON behind him. Didn't even get to take a penalty in the penalty shootout either. Didn't get that far. So he was really, really upset and really, really disappointed. In terms of Sadio Mane, we've seen this week Liverpool fans as crazy as it is, like going in on because he said that this is the biggest trophy he's won in terms of and obviously Liverpool fans are going, hang on a minute, he won a Premier League with us and he won a Champions League with us, which I think was a bit silly, really. But I mean, the guy was over the moon at winning the trophies, representing his country, Senegal, and we know from Sadio Mane the amount of money he pumps into Senegal, helping to build schools and hospitals and helping out villages and communities and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very close to his heart, and to be able to win that trophy for the first time for his country and scoring the winning penalty, the wave of emotion must have been unbelievable for him. So it was absolutely brilliant to see him win that. And if I was Liverpool fans, I'd be looking at a very happy Sadio Mane being a much better Sadio Mane for us when he returns, even if he says this was the biggest trophy he's won. That's his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. We shouldn't be getting hell bent about it. It's not like the AFCON trophy is going to sit in the Liverpool trophy cabinet. So I wouldn't be getting too upset about that. It looks like Salah is going to be available to be picked. I'm not sure whether Klopp will pick him. He might keep him on the bench and maybe spring him from the bench if we happen to need him. Because he's had a tough tournament, Salah. A lot of games gone to extra time and penalties, and he's also carried the weight of that Egyptian side through the whole tournament, who really didn't show any form at all that would have got them really through to the final, stuff like that. And to be honest, if Egypt had won it the other night, although as a Liverpool fan, we'd be happy either way for Salah or Mane. I think Egypt, it would have been a bit of a robbery, being honest, you know what I mean? Because Senegal really had the quality there in terms of their team and in terms of their play. Also heard Divock Origi is back in full training after that troublesome knee problem. But the duo of Joe Gomez and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain have completed their isolation periods from testing positive for CV-19. So now they're good to go as well. They're available as well. Obviously, Harvey Elliott is back, looked really, really good the other day. And I don't know if you've seen the video of his dad watching the kid scoring the goal in front of the Cop. The dad was in tears, and it was fantastic to see that passion and how much it means to people. This guy took, 6-7 months of whatever recovery to get back or whatever it was. And now that he's back, to turn on a sixpence like that and bury that ball into the back of the net, albeit against Cardiff, must have been an unbelievably proud and emotional moment for his father. So brilliant stuff. Not sure whether he's going to be risking after having a lengthy layoff. I suppose it depends what his reaction was after the Cardiff game, but he'll be chomping at the bit to play. I mean, he's had enough resting, enough sitting around. He won't to be sitting on any bench at this stage. He won't to be getting stuck into it. Thiago and Fabinho, they're both going to be on returns to the engine room as well for the visit of Leicester. No doubt about it. So, we've a really, really good squad going into this. Not too many knocks, not too many injuries, so it should be pretty good. And Klopp should have a decent squad to select from. Interesting to see what tactics he deploys, because we know that Leicester at times can be quite dogged in their approach and try to catch us on the break. So we need to unlock that. Vital that we get this 3 points, keep the title race going. I would expect City to win on Wednesday evening. Goes without saying, and we need to go out and do a professional job and get the job done. In terms of the Foxes, they also have Mendy was away on AFCON duty as well. Fair play to him. And he was also named in the best 11 of the tournament. Proper baller. But all the players that they have out at the moment, Johnny Evans, Castanet, Jamie Vardy, Ryan Bertrand and Wesley Fofana all remain out of contention due to injury. That's the latest news we have there. That might be updated further on down the week. But the latter are due to rejoin the team in training next week. And especially Fofana as he steps up his recovery from a broken leg. So it'll be good to see him back. Massive player for Leicester. They've absolutely missed him without a shadow of a doubt. And it's been a real roller coaster this year for Brendan Rodgers. At times, he sounds like he's checked out. At times, he sounds like he's had enough. He's come across like he felt like he's brought the team as far as he can bring it. He's been direct in terms of his comments and in terms of his interviews, that just lads aren't putting it in. Just talk of Tillemans wanting to leave. Indeed, he hasn't really shown any form. The boy Vestergaard who came in, big enough signing and stuff like that, has flattered to deceive when he came in. Obviously, he's trying to figure out the mix up front between Maddison, Daka and Vardy and Iheanacho. He's trying to find a blend there that he hasn't been able to find at the moment. Tillemans, obviously, a lot of talk about him not re-signing and potentially moving on. So there's a little bit of upheaval there at the moment for Brendan to try and figure out as well. And he did take a massive shot after the FA Cup loss, going out to Nottingham Forest like that, such a weak performance. And especially when you're the defending champions, you shouldn't be going out. No disrespect to Nottingham Forest, who we know put Arsenal out in the last round. But still, if you're the defending champions, you really want to be stepping up, So he could consider calls for Soumare, Daka and Albrighton this week to change it up after the guys didn't perform. So if you're looking at possible lineups at the moment, for Liverpool at the moment, you got Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Jota, Firmino and Diaz, which is an absolute mouth-watering starting lineup. And to think, Salah is potentially there available as well, and Harvey Elliott's there potentially available as well. And when Mane comes back, what a headache it is for Jurgen Klopp up front now to pick these players. Really looking to see what Diaz can do against Leicester in a Premier League team, and him experience under the lights for the first time at Anfield in a league game, which should be tantalising to say the least. For Leicester, their lineup a little bit indifferent as well. As we said, some of these guys have been bang out of form. Some of them haven't really shown up, and of course some are getting to a stage where they're going to look into pastures new potentially. So Schmeichel in goals, of course, Pereira, Vestergaard, Soyuncu, Thomas, Ndidi, Tillemans, Albrighton, Maddison, Daka and Iheanacho. It's very, very strong lineup. Ndidi very, very strong in the middle of the park when he wants to show up and actually play. Has struggled this season. Tillemans will be putting himself in the shop window. We know he's kind of like made soundings about Klopp and stuff like that. We've been heavily linked with him in the past. Also, Arsenal are heavily linked with him as well. We know how dangerous the boy Daka is up front. We've seen him, especially in the Europa League this season. Really, really dangerous when given the opportunities and knows where to put the ball in the back of the net. Maddison at times has drifted in and showed shades of the old Maddison, but certainly form again this season has been kind of indifferent. Vestergaard at the back needs to start to show and pay back some of that fee that they paid from and stuff like that. He's been kind of poor in his first outings for Leicester. But it remains to be seen. We obviously can't take anything for granted here. We should run out winners. My prediction is a 3-1 win to Liverpool. There's probably a shout there that we should probably keep a clean sheet, but we know how dangerous Maddison is from a set piece. We know how dangerous Daka can be as well. And Albrighton at times can be very dangerous as well. And Tielemans coming from midfield. So it is an attacking lineup, but we should have more than enough for this. Can't afford to drop any points. Got to keep the title race going. And we will be back Thursday evening with a match reaction and player ratings. As always, if you could like, share, and subscribe before you go, and you'll obviously get audio versions of the show on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Head over there if you want to follow us on those platforms as well. Till next time, come on, you Reds. Let's keep this title race going. Let's show Leicester how it's done on Thursday night under the lights at Anfield. Till next time. Cheers, folks.